This may be the hardest stretch for the Miami Dolphins this year in 2025. The third quarter of the 2025 schedule. We're talking Ravens. We're talking Bills. We're talking Commanders. This could be make or break for the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about it. Coming up next.
We are Outside the Pod, a Miami Dolphins podcast. Here are your outsiders, Danny D and Jules, the ref killer.
Anyway, yet another episode of the Outside the Pod, a Miami Dolphins podcast. And we're going to talk about the third quarter of Miami Dolphins schedule. But first, I wanted to bring something up here. I'm going to throw it on the screen. Everybody's probably seen this meme, but I thought it was hilarious. And it's probably pretty old, but who cares? Gunnar Rivers is coming up here soon into the college scene. And he's already looking pretty big, right up there with Phillip Rivers. But I think it's just funny. I wanted to react to this meme because, you know, it says we're about to get one of these every 1 to 2 years for the next decade. Like Fast and the Furious movies. That's hilarious, man. Yeah, so you guys ready to see Gunnar Rivers and then whoever 100 Rivers after that quarterbacking for some team. So, yeah, I thought it was funny. Anyway, what do you think?
That's hilarious, man. I hadn't seen that one. Him and Tyreek can have a competition, you know, and probably in like 22 years, we're going to see some Hill Juniors coming up as well.
Yeah.
but yeah, man, that's hilarious, man. He probably got a full football team just by himself.
He definitely got 2 basketball teams. So I just wanted to touch up on something we kind of missed last episode, and that was Bradley Chubb's comments regarding the culture change. And he was saying that the players were lying last year. He was saying that, hey, it wasn't really a thing. They were kind of just saying it. But why would I believe him now? What would be the difference this year, right? Was it Jalen Ramsey? Because Jalen Ramsey was there, like they couldn't change the culture. Was Jalen Ramsey walking around the locker room just like bullying people? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like that other meme or that one commercial where the dude walks into the little like kids party and just slaps all the kids. You know what I mean? I'll probably throw that in there, right? You know which I think it was like State Farm or something, some insurance, and the dude walk in and he was like at a kid's party and they were like the kid would say something to him and he slapped him. And then another kid would run up to him and he slapped the shit out of that kid too. And then like a parent came up and he slapped the parent. Another parent slaps, and he's just like, you know what I mean? Like that guy. Is that Jalen Ramsey in the locker room or what?
I don't know, man. I remember that commercial vaguely. You know, I don't think that would be anything we'd see on TV today, right? You know, we're not promoting violence at all these days, right?
Right.
But, man,
I'm promoting it.
But I don't think so, right? I mean, I don't think that was it. That much influence from a player, I don't think so. I couldn't believe that, you know.
I think that Chubb is kind of just trying to pull the wool over our eyes and kind of make it seem like, hey, this year we're legit gonna change the culture, right? We're really serious this time. We're serious this time. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, that's the main thing right now, right? Culture change. And I get it. You have to. You're professionals. You want the fans to believe in you. You want the fans to come out to the stadium. And what else are you going to say, right? And as fans, you know, I'm sure I've been a pessimist this whole time, you know, especially, you know, this whole off season really. And that's what we're going to hear is the same thing. Culture change. It's real this time. What else are you going to say? I don't blame him for saying anything like that. I think that's what he has to say. That's what everyone has to say in order for, you know, to keep it motivated and the energy high and everything like that. But I hope so. I really do.
You make a good point, right? When it comes down to the media, they're gonna say things a little bit inflated, maybe a little bit of a lie here and there. Nothing too crazy. But what I'm saying is that they're gonna say things for the media that are probably not real at the end of the day in the locker room. But this third quarter of the schedule, the next 4 games, if they have not hit any adversity until October 30th, they're about to hear. Here comes the wall. Here comes the storm, and the Dolphins are going to have to be ready for this. Starting with the Ravens in Baltimore, October 30. Lamar Jackson will continue to be a problem as long as he's got his legs. He's got a strong arm as well. So whenever he could extend the plays and the cornerbacks get a little tired of covering, especially our cornerbacks right now that they're yet to be proven, we may have some holes there where not only is Lamar Jackson going to be able to run, but I'm afraid he's going to be able to get down the field with some deep passes as well. It's almost unfair, right? They got Derrick Henry. They picked up DeAndre Hopkins. So, I mean, he's getting long in the tooth, but, he could probably still be dangerous a couple of plays out of the game. They got 2 great tight ends. It's just they got a very well-rounded offense, and at the same time, they just picked up the guy that everybody wanted Miami to pick up, Jair Alexander, and apparently it was because they haven't been able to trade Jalen Ramsey. That kind of caused them to not be able to put any good deals on the table for that trade. So we could blame it on Jalen Ramsey. I'm sure they will. But at the end of the day, Jair Alexander, I think, wanted to go to Baltimore. I think he's got some friends there, and I don't think we're built anywhere near to be able to win this game. Although if we do perform at our best and some of these cornerbacks end up coming out to be pretty good contributors, then maybe we have a chance. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a hard game. Ravens on primetime TV, Thursday Night Football in Baltimore.
Just so excited about it. Actually, not very excited because this is a juggernaut, right? Right here. This is it right here. Because I expect the Dolphins, even playing as they did last year, I think they're still at this point 4-4, 5-3. I think 5-3 is very likely for this team, barring catastrophes like Tua going down and things like that. So 5-3, I would say, is probably the record we're going to see at the point that we play the Ravens here on Thursday night. And so we were still going to have the playoff hopes and everything like that, but in this segment of the schedule, man, that's going to be probably the make or break for the Dolphins, because if we go 1-3 here or 0-4, I mean that puts us at a couple of games under 500, and getting up from there is going to be really difficult. Particularly this game, I don't see us winning this game. The last time we played in Baltimore, that's when we came back from a big Ravens lead. Great game. I was so excited about that game. It was awesome to see the firepower that we had. We still have, potentially it's still there, right? We're hoping for that same offense this year, right? And the only way that we're going to win that game is if we have that same firepower. Yeah. We're able to score points, because there is no way that we're going to keep this Ravens team under 25 points. There's no way. I don't see it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to score a lot of points, and we're going to have to match up physically with them, because they're going to push us around. If we're not ready, they're going to push us around the whole field. They're going to remember that one time. They're not going to let it happen this time. If they take a lead like they did before, they're just going to bulldoze us.
Right.
So they're going to be ready for that. I don't think we have a chance in this game unless we can match them physically and showcase that firepower that we potentially have.
The book is out on the Dolphins offense, right? That's what a lot of people think is the reason why we could not replicate 2023 and 2024. because the book is out. So unless there was a New Testament that Mike McDaniel came out with, and he's able to adjust to the way the defenses are playing them now. And last thing I wanted to touch on is we need to get this run game started. We need to get Achane to be able to hit some, as long as he gets into the second level, right? He gets past that line. He gets past some of those linebackers, and you know what he could do, man. I was watching some old tape before of with against the 49ers where he took it like 60 yards. You know what? Like, people just weren't catching the kid, man. He would explode through the hole so fast. It was crazy to see. And you saw like Bobby Wagner just like, oh shit, what was that? Was that the running back with the ball? Yeah, he's gone, bro. He's gone. So yeah, we need to get that running game back moving and grooving. We got Wright, we got Gordon, we got a good 1, 2, 3 freaking combination really of running backs. It's not it's not the running backs, that's for sure. It's the way that we're gonna scheme this up, and the line, being able to push the pocket and make the holes. So hopefully Jonah's good at it. Brewer, we know is going to be capable, and then Daniels is on the other side as well. That's our only hope, really. Anyway, not to get too long on the Ravens game, but we got another beast coming up for the second time this season. It's going to be November 9th in Miami, so that's a good part. It's not going to be in Buffalo. In Miami, November 9th, Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, man, this will be the second game, right? I think a lot is going to have to do, all these 4 games, right? A lot of it is going to have to be depending on where we're at as far as health-wise. I'm still worried, right, about a couple of our players coming back, injuries, 4 people. How many people we have out, right? Like Austin Jackson was out for a while. Tua, Chubb, Jayden, all these guys coming back from injuries, and then Daniels, he wasn't with us last year, but again, he's coming off of Achilles heel, right? Mm-hmm. So all these guys, we got to keep healthy, and these are key guys, right? Yeah. If we're gonna build this offensive line, that's gonna go through Daniels and our new guys, Savinea, and Austin Jackson also was out for a while, and now we have Patrick Paul at left tackle. So it seems like I was just building out Patrick Paul, Savinea, Brewer, Daniels, Jackson, right? I mean, that on paper, it seems like that's the way to go.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens after training camp, right? But there's so many speculations right here. But what I want to see here with the Bills on our second game is, it's a 1 p.m. start, which I like. Mm-hmm. Probably going to be hot. Mm-hmm. We got to take all the advantages we can, right? And that's one. We got to run the ball, man. We got to run the ball. I think we had to slow the game down, and of course take our chances deep once in a while. But we got to slow it down. We got to keep the ball away from Josh Allen.
Yep.
I think that's the way to win both games, right? We keep the ball away from Josh Allen, and then when he does have the ball, we got to get pressure on him. That's the way to beat the Bills, I'd say. Keep the ball away from him as much as you can, and then put pressure once he has the ball. We have the potential to do both. We have potentially a really solid running game, and potentially one of the best defensive lines in the game.
Yep.
And so that's what it's going to come down to. I'd say against the Bills, they have all these weapons, and of course, that's one side of the ball. But then, or one side of the offense. What about passing? They got Bozo on the other side. So who knows if we're going to be able to score points as well? But I'm really hoping the running game really gives us the spark against the Bills. I think we're going to need it. I don't think we can get into a shootout and expect to win here.
Yeah. The running game is definitely key for both these games. In particular, with the Ravens, it's because their secondary is going to be really good, and some of their linebackers like Raekwon Smith. And the other hand, with the Bills, people like Joey Bosa on the line, we got to soften that up with a run. So key is the run game for both of these games. You touched on it. And yeah, I mean, the defense, I mean, we could create some turnovers. We haven't been that good at it for several years, but at the same time, you know, the best player we had as far as turnovers went, we let go to the Vikings. But you know, yeah, D-line is going to be great. Even if Grant doesn't turn out to be right out the gate to be the greatest player, I wouldn't say the greatest player, but to be a good player, you know, I think his ceiling is high. But we still got Zach Sealer. We still got Chop. We still got Jalen Phillips is healthy, hopefully. Chubb. I mean, these guys are still going to be able to do some crazy damage. So, but again, as long as we can be successful on the ground, we should be able to open up some holes for Tua to be able to throw some stuff down to Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Following that, we got a long trip to Spain, November 16th. It's going to be nationally televised, not necessarily going to be prime time. I don't remember what the time is going to be for that, but it doesn't really matter because it's in Spain. It's going to be a full stadium, nationally televised, and of course the Commanders are coming out of a great season with Dan Quinn as the new head coach, and then they just brought in a bunch of pieces that just worked out for them, and it just looks like one of those teams that you wish you kind of could be like, right? Especially as a young team, it almost seems like a new team, right? It's no longer the Commanders of old. You know, they got Jayden Daniels and they added Kliff Kingsbury as their OC, and all of a sudden they're just very fun to watch, to be honest. This is my home team right here. I'm in the DC area, and everybody's excited about this team. I'm going to be honest. You see a lot more Commanders jerseys throughout the offseason than you ever did before that. So, you know, we're looking to have a really hard game as well in Spain. Not something that's, I mean, obviously none of these are impossible to win, but definitely it's going to be hard. They added Deebo Samuel. Yeah, he kind of looks chunky like me with the pads on and everything, trying to run out there. But I feel like he's going to get back in shape. And even then, he's probably faster than you think he is, when even as a chunky little Deebo. But added Laramie Tunsil too. You know, we let him go a while back. We got a bunch of picks in his trade and stuff like that. But at the same time, he is one of the best freaking tackles that's played the game. So, yeah, I mean, we got some trouble coming up this quarter. So this quarter of the schedule. So what do you think?
It's rough, man. It's rough looking at this, man. You got Ravens, Bills, Commanders. Three straight weeks. I mean, we're going to be tired. Probably playing through injuries at this point for a lot of the guys.
Yeah, it's later
Hopefully
in the
nothing
season.
Bad, right? You're trying to maintain health. You're trying to maintain positioning. You know, it's the second half of the season. Everybody's talking about playoff position, things like that. This is when it starts, right? And now you get put through this juggernaut of a schedule, and you got to go to Spain as a home game. That's another thing, right? You got robbed of a home game because you got to go to Spain now. And even though in Spain, I would say that, you know, most people there are probably more on the Dolphins side than on the Commanders side, I would say, because the Dolphins been in Europe a lot more, I think, than the Commanders.
Yeah.
At the Santiago Bernabeu, which is primarily a soccer stadium, right? And you know, and these are very emotional, passionate fans too, by the way. So yeah, I think it's gonna be. I still think it's gonna feel like a home game for us, even though we're in Spain. But so I don't know about that being. Yeah, I think it's better to be playing at the Hard Rock for sure. But it's still gonna be probably a little bit more on the side of the Dolphins. But this isn't. We cannot rest on this team, man. On the Commanders, they look really, really solid.
Yeah.
They look really solid, bro.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, they look really solid. So I would say it's going to be scary. You know, Jayden Daniels, another year under his belt. I think he's going to have a really good year. And then Deebo, yeah, I mean, chunky. He's always been a little bit chunky, right? But and he's going to get back to form, man. He's going to. He hurt. I know he hurt. You know, people saying, "Hey, you're looking chunky out here."
Yeah,
And
they definitely still got some
he's
time, right? I'm sure they're still.
he's a
Yeah,
pro.
I'll wait till freaking.
Yeah, yeah. I'll eat one less bowl of Lucky Charms tonight. That kind of thing. And he's a professional, man. I think he's gonna be all right. And he uses that, right? He's not a finesse wide receiver. He's trying to hit someone when he catches a ball, not necessarily go around anyone. He knows he can hit someone. He uses that weight a little bit. It's really hard to tackle. So he uses that chunk, pretty well. And then McLaurin, man, Jesus. I mean, they're stacked, right? Offensively, they're scary. They can put up 40 points like nothing against you if you're not paying attention. They'll just run over you.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not an easy part of the schedule by no means. And when you're trying to change the culture, when you're trying to position yourself for the playoffs, when it's the second half already, and if you're 500 ball at this point, man,
yeah,
man, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be tough. This is a tough schedule for us right here. This is the tough part about it. This is where we're gonna see if that culture change is in effect, is working. If your leaders are still out there and, giving it all and everything, and the young guys are following suit, then, it's fine. If we're playing well, if we're giving it all, I'll still be happy if we're 500 or whatever, but we're still giving it all. And, that's great. I'll still be proud of this team. But this is where it could get ugly. If that leadership is still lacking with the head coach and some of the players, this could go south like really fast.
Yeah.
Right at this part of the schedule right here.
Out of these three teams that we just talked about, this is likely the easiest. I mean, that's kind of a dumb word to use it, easiest, but this is the lesser of the three teams, I would say, the Commanders, right? But it's going to be in Spain, long trip. They're still, they're not as balanced, right? Offense to defense as the Ravens. I think they're closer to the Bills in that respect. As far as their offense is stacked, their defense is serviceable. So we need to exploit that. We need to score more points than them. We need to score more points than them to win. Obviously, right? I'm being sarcastic, but just in case anybody thinks I'm actually that dumb. But the easy part of this quarter will be against the Saints in Miami, November 30. Beautiful day in Miami, probably. And the Saints are looking like the 2007 Dolphins, where we almost went. What's the opposite of undefeated? Defeated? All defeated? What is it? Super defeated?
Unvictorious?
Unvictorious? Yeah, almost. But yeah, under Cameron, one of the worst coaches ever. But anyway, the Saints, and I got a good buddy of mine is a Saints fan, and I'm sorry, KP, don't kill me, man. But your Saints are unadulterated butt trash, and I don't even know who's your starting quarterback, man. If we don't win this game, pack it up. Everybody gets fired. You know what I mean? Because that means there would be 4 straight losses unless we get lucky, and potentially losing to potentially the worst team in the NFL at this point. I'm not sure I can think of another team that's in the dumps as bad as the Saints are right now. Again, hey, KP, I'm sorry, bro. I'll apologize to you later. But yeah, they're looking pretty bad. They got Chase Young on. That's probably about the only thing that they got on the defensive side. And Kamara is like their only continuity around. He hasn't had the greatest of seasons as he did in the past, right? But I know he's still serviceable running back. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the Saints got it in them to beat the Dolphins in Miami for this game.
Yeah, absolutely right. This is if we lose this game and that's 4 straight. You're right. At this point, I mean, unless it's one of those where we're like 11-0, and then we gotta, maybe you'll forgive him, right? Or we gotta, yeah, I don't know, but it's not gonna happen. The 11-0 is not gonna happen, and the loss to the Saints shouldn't happen, right? But who knows, man? Sometimes if we're the 2024 Dolphins, we seem to always play down to your rival's level, right? And that's, you know what I mean?
I didn't want to bring that up, man, because I just,
especially if we just lost the last three. Yeah, we're gonna be looking to like pound on the Saints, but then the Saints are gonna be looking to kick us while we're down. And at that point, if we're like in a very bad playoff position or anything like that, and people are starting like packing it in and stuff like that, this is gonna be a dangerous game where the Saints come in and then just eke out a field goal win or something like that. But yeah, this is definitely a, just looking at it from this high level right now, this has got to be the win right here, right? I don't expect us to be 3-0, not even 2-1 at the point that we're playing the Saints. I'm hoping for 2-1 in this quarter, or 1-2. I mean, by the time we play the Saints, that's what I'm hoping for. And if we're 1-2, I think we'll be still okay. We win this, we go 2-2 in this juggernaut right here. Which, by the way, we're talking about, nobody's going to feel sorry for us if we lose those 3 games. I mean, because we were talking about playing the Commanders. I mean, they be coming off a stretch where they're playing the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, and Detroit. Chiefs and Cowboys and Lions, before they play us. So nobody's, oh, well, boo-hoo, right? Go cry to your mom.
This is going to be where we separate the man from everything else, right? To put it, somewhat, I don't know. I'm just saying it's where we separate the man from the ones that bought the culture. Let's put it that way.
The pretenders from contenders.
There you go. So like all the pretenders about the culture, like Chubb may be one of them if he was pretending when he had that quote. They're the ones that are going to fold, after something like this, and end up playing a terrible game in against the Saints in Miami. So this is going to make or break the season. This is where we're going to know if Mike McDaniel should still be around, Tua should still be around, and freaking Chris Greer should still be around. We're going to know by November 30th, after this game, how we're moving forward. At least as fans. If Ross doesn't feel the same way, he needs to sell the team. You know what I mean? He needs to sell the team and focus on, I don't know, something else. But I know he's not gonna. He's got too much money in it. He's got F1 freaking track around it. The stadium's worth more than, basically, it's probably like 10 times more than it used to be before he got his hands on it. I mean, yeah, he's not letting it go. He ain't letting it go. It's probably staying in his family. So we got him for the long haul. The ceiling, you talked about it. The ceiling here, I think, for the Dolphins is like splitting this quarter, right? Split it 2-2. Taking care of the Saints, as we should take care of the Saints. And then either catch a win in one of the other 3. Ideally, I would love to see them beat the Bills. Because we're in Miami. But I think the easiest win would probably be the Commanders, as we talked about before. But yeah, if we could split this series in this quarter, then at that point we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, right. Just on paper, I think if we split this one, then we're looking at 7-5, right? And we're pretty good. We're in a pretty good shape, and if we have our health, then we got something to look forward to, maybe, because now you're positioning yourself for a playoff position, right? For a playoff berth here, if you're 7-5, you got a legitimate chance. So a split here is definitely, I would say, just as far as my how I estimate that everything's going to go, I believe in 7-5. 6-6 would probably put us in a very bad position. Right? We'd probably be like three games out of a wild card at this point if you're 6-6.
Yep.
And when you still got the Steelers, the Bengals coming up, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots still coming up in your schedule, and I don't see it.
Yeah.
So you got to be around 7-5 at this point. Yeah. So that's where I see our ceiling be, right? Man, if we're 8-4, I'd be ecstatic, man. I'd be really excited. Yeah. But 7-5, I think, is more likely, and I still think we got a legitimate chance at a playoff berth if we're 7-5 at this point.
Right. And hey, at that point, maybe McDaniel and Tua still keep their jobs if they get another playoff berth, like we talked about before. But I think the floor here to this point, in this quarter specifically, is that we could lose all 4 games. And I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because of what we just talked about. They could be in the slumps after 3 straight losses, after coming back from Spain. This is probably when the jet lag is going to start setting in, is that week before this game. Is when the jet lag's like just throwing you the hell off. And you know what I mean? So
well, thank God though, we got a bye week, right? We did get a bye week after playing in Spain. Yeah. We got a bye week. So and that's why we should not win or lose that game against the Saints, right? We should definitely not
be rested.
2 weeks to prepare, 2 weeks to get rid of the jet lag, 2 weeks to prepare for the Saints. I mean, you gotta win this game, dude. It's like
you have no excuses. But,
no excuses.
Yeah. So definitely, it's easy to answer this question, which is what game should we be worried about during this quarter? And that's the first 3. It's pretty easy. We already kind of talked about that. Definitely the first 3. But the biggest one, the game, I think, is the Ravens. I think they got an opportunity to blow us out in Baltimore on Thursday night. Their team just looks too balanced.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm looking at, the if we win or lose by a lot or lose by a little. Baltimore is a really, really good team, and Kansas City, Buffalo, anyone going into Baltimore has a chance to lose, right? So if we lose that game, it's a good team. It's not that I don't think it's as bad as at home against the Bills the following week. I think that's the game, right? Yeah. Because it's a division game. You're at home. You've been talking all this stuff about culture change, playoff berth. We're here to win. We were lying last year. This is the game right here, man. We got to get over that hump, beat the Bills at home, take care of business. And then that's when you're going to go, oh, shit, man. Maybe we got something here. That's important, I think, more so, not just for playoff position and division position and things like that, but more so about the stuff that you're talking about right now. The culture, the winning attitude. We've changed. We're different men. Whatever. This is it right here. This is where you get to show it. So I think you got to have a good record at this point. If we win this one, we're potentially 8-4, right? Around there. If we win Buffalo at home, we still got a pretty good position probably in the division and in the playoff race, man. That's a huge one because I don't think we're winning Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I think this is definitely a more important and probably even a more winnable game is at home against the Bills.
Right. So, as far as importance goes, this is the game. You bought me on that one. You sold me on it. Bought me. You sold me on it. Oh, shit. Now I must be tired. Anyway. It's been a long day. It's been a long day already, man. Already. So yeah, but I wanted to kind of just add to that, and this is where you're going to show, like you said, the culture change, right? The toughness. Is that toughness really what you're looking for? And have you been able to capture it within your players as a head coach or and some of the leaders on the field? Because if I hear one more freaking player that leads the Miami Dolphins like Deshaun Elliott and freaking Poyer say that the Dolphins are freaking soft, like, I'm done, man. I'm freaking done listening to that. Like, when, you should have kept. You know what? Let me backtrack. We definitely need to get to the point where this is no longer the description of the Miami Dolphins, because that's obviously the problem, right? You're not going anywhere if you're a soft team. The hard teams are the ones that are winning the Super Bowls. Finesse is not really getting you anywhere. It's the hard teams. The Eagles were hard. That's why they won. You know what I mean? The Steelers are one of the best franchises because they're hard. The Ravens are one of the best franchises because they're just, when you think about hard teams, rough, tough, physical teams, the Ravens are up there. The Steelers are up there. And these are like franchises that are always just beating people up, being tough, out there to play. No finesse about it. No freaking, I don't know. It's just a different mentality, I think. And we're missing that. And we've been missing that for a long, long time. So something else that I'm over is this, it's the last time I want to hear that the Dolphins are soft. Somebody needs to step up. Somebody needs to create a different culture there. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's Mike McDaniels. He just doesn't have it. I don't think he has. You keep Mike McDaniel if you want to continue to be a finesse team. If you want to continue to be a speedy team, fast team that can explode. Yes, you're going to win some games if we're firing on all cylinders. But at the end of the day, when you get punched in the mouth like they did in 2024, all of a sudden your plans change. Ask Mike Tyson. Everybody thinks they're freaking hard to get punched in the mouth. And all of a sudden your plan's completely different. Oh, crap. I did not expect that. What am I going to do now? That's what happened in 2024. We definitely need this culture to change, and we need these guys to get hard.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to remain the optimist here, which I'm usually not, right? But I'm trying to maintain my optimism. But then you've got to bring this stuff up, with me. And I've agreed to that point for this long. I don't think McDaniel is the answer. I think it's going to be a good offensive coordinator for another team probably as soon as next year. I'm trying to be optimistic about this season and trying to believe what they're selling right now. I'm hopeful. I'm trying to believe in it. It's hard, man. It's hard. We had some pretty bad Sundays, man. Yep. Pretty bad off season. And it's just hard to believe it, but I'm trying to maintain optimism. I'm hoping that some of the stuff that happened last year was injuries and people not being able to maintain the energy and the motivation when you got your stars out for a while, right? They're not playing. And when that's happening, you're not winning. It's hard to maintain that energy, man. It's hard to maintain that physicality in a game. It's hard to care at that point. It is the coach's job to maintain it, to keep those guys ready at all times. Somebody else has to step in and that kind of thing. I'm hoping that that's the part of McDaniel that didn't work last year, and he's ready to do that this year. I'm hoping that's what it is. And that they're not soft. It's just that they couldn't find it. They couldn't find the motivation to do it. They tried to lean on someone, on a coach, on another player, and they just couldn't find it because maybe they were lying to themselves, or maybe they weren't ready to handle that kind of circumstance around your team, around all the injuries and all the losing, right? And I'm hoping that this time they know what it takes. what I'm being hopeful for, right? I'm hoping that this time they find it. They find it within themselves. They find it within the coaches and the star players, and keep it together and play through the adversity and the and the losses and things like that, and maintain that. Otherwise, then we're probably not going to see McDaniel here next year, and we might not even see Tua again next year. But I hope so. I hope that what they're selling, I hope it's true. So I'm going to continue to buy. Hopefully, I'm staying optimistic and continue buying it, and hopefully, man. Hopefully, at this point, then these first 12 games that we're around 7-5. That's my hope, and we're still in it. We're still fighting, and that primarily we're still energetic. We're still motivated. I mean, that's the main thing, right?
I mean, I might not be around if this is
Liar.
I mean, freak. Hey, I've said this.
You've said that before.
Yeah, this is for all you out there that don't know me, which is not a lot of you because we only got 6 subscribers, and they all know me. But those of you that join later, and for future listeners, yeah, I said this all the time. I probably won't be around if we get another sorry ass season, but. You know what? I hope you're wrong, and I hope we're wrong. And they prove us wrong. They prove everybody in the NFL wrong by getting a playoff berth. I think that's the ceiling this year. Is playoff berth. Maybe a win, but I think it's playoff berth. And we'll continue to talk about it next episode. We'll talk about the last quarter of the 2025 season. But until then, get into the comments. Let us know what you think. What's the ceiling for the Dolphins at this point, specifically with the third quarter of the schedule? What do you guys think? Can we split this little series that we got here? Are we gonna win in Spain? Are the freaking Saints gonna kind of come out of nowhere and just punch us in the mouth and tell us to fire everybody in the organization? Let us know in the comments. And as always, please subscribe, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're the new kids on the block, and or old guys on the block, whichever you want to say.
Hey, speak for yourself, man.
Yeah, long in the tooth. So, but yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Again, we'll talk about the fourth quarter 2025 schedule and whatever else comes up to mind. Maybe another meme we'll throw up there, and we talk a little bit of shit about Phillip Rivers. But until then, fins up. Hopefully, fins up, and we'll catch you later.
All right, man. Hey, Shedeur Sanders, slow down, man.
Don't catch that speeding ticket.
All right, man. Fins up. See you later.
Later.